go there, and they should have people that are advising them on it. So I think the contact. My push this off season, David, has been even in the gym, has been to run through things, whether it's a medicine ball being tossed, how to finish. We spend so much time in coming to balance and decelerating. That's good, but sometimes you just got to go and you got to get the movement. But I think it's this is so important. You understand? This is going to be part of what our DNA is going to be. So we're going to tackle. Get ready for it. We're going to get tackle, get ready for it. I mean, we're in helmets all the time. I mean, you can't see where you're not looking at. You know, I mean,
eyes up.
Guys tackle different. Guys tackle. You got to get the guy on the ground. All right. You know, people say, "Hey, aim small, miss big." I mean, aim small, miss small. I think just the basic stuff that we've always used is, burning inside hip and look, we all do tracking drills, right? We all do tracking drills. To me, a tracking drill is a small guy was this. If the guy who's carrying the ball sees me and comes to balance, I got to probably buzz down somehow, right?
Right.
If he's not looking, knock him out.
Yeah.
And that's just it. I mean, and that's on him. I mean, you're not doing anything dirty, but it is a physical game.
Football.
It's a violent game. And we need all our kids, if you lose a kid, in some ways you're losing 3 or 4 kids. But I think there's a reality to it that it's on in practice. I don't know.
I think the biggest thing too is
I think if you
tackling, because I now coach at the lowest level, right? Is by teaching a lot now the with the near hip and the roll stuff is great, but for my whole entire career up until maybe about 6 or 7 years ago,
not what it was.
The whole thing is to run your feet, right?
Yeah.
So,
run your feet on contact.
And I used to lose it on kids who would go to the ground with their legs, take their legs out of the tackle, basically go to the ground.
Very common.
Right. It's very hard to tackle somebody. And so obviously that's a big part of it. And so it's a lot harder, though, to teach them to continue to use their legs when they're going through the hip in that roll than it is when the old bite the ball and it's a big
face mask on the ball, eyes up.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's a big and there's a way to teach. Obviously, to me, there's a way to teach. Obviously, head ups. You always gotta have your head up.
You got to
put your head out of the play. But what's happened is less legs are involved in finishing the tackle. So I actually think it's more dangerous. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're in it more than I am. I think it's more dangerous. I've seen a lot of tackles when they go to the ground where the kids stop running their legs and then the guy running the ball stops running their legs and whatever. More dangerous than the kid who just is coming fast, tackles him through, keeps running his legs, brings him to the ground. He lands on the ground. So,
Well, I think what you're talking about with some of the tackling is the frozen picture of the kid being on a knee and trying to make the tackle.
Yes.
Right. So you got a couple of things here. The heaviest part of your body is your head. The weakest part of your body is your neck. The strongest part of your body is your caboose and down, right? Your posterior chain, right? Mm-hmm. And those things need to be accented. And what I see is exactly what you're talking about, Dave, is with the tackling now, we are teaching keep the head out of the equation, which can mean a lot to a kid. Like just get it out of the way. Bite the ball has definite worth, in my opinion. All right. I think it's why you're seeing so many shoulder injuries because kids are buying and the arms come. It's like the offensive tackle in the pros tearing a bicep, right? Right. But they're trying to make this tackle with it's an arm tackle, guys.
That's what it is. It's this.
Yeah, and that's not good.
A shoulder. That's this. And you're talking about the technology. Everybody wants to focus on let's change the helmets. Let's change the helmets. Let's change the helmets. Well, now you're taking the head out of it. How about we update your shoulder pad?
What about the knees on the ball? The knees on the ball carry with the twist, right?
Oh gosh.
Every time a guy,
in practice is twisting.
Yeah, like that ball carry, whether it's my ball carry or the other team, it's almost like you want to close your eyes, right? Because when he turns, the ball carrier's going this way, and the guy's trying to turn him. It's two completely opposite motions. Whereas
it's not natural.
But that's what you're seeing in practice.
Okay, yeah.
How many times in practice they say it's not those guys? I try to use all the positives. Like the don'ts don't really help. Don'ts are not effective in teaching in anything you do. All right, they'll figure that out when they put their hand in the bandsaw. Right,
correct.
That's a don't. Right, but what you're going through with the kids is we want all these do's, but where we all throw the don't out there in practice, don't twist. You guys are getting all twisted up, because we're not tackling. So they're getting into that do-si-do type thing. It's square guys, and it's scaring the holy heck out of you. Stay off the ground. Get it. I get it. That's not where the issues are. I mean, nobody wants to talk about the linemen. They don't know what's going on behind them. And it went all this contact stuff. And they're not the only way to learn how to block is block. You have to block. That's it. Sleds don't move. Sleds have a purpose, but sleds don't move.
There's nothing. There's no better teacher than experience.
That's right. And bags are fine. But you slide off a bag differently, and when somebody's being combative with you with their hands or shoulder or their movement, right? So I think we've made it somewhat more dangerous.
Yes.
To be honest, I do.
Yeah.
You guys know, you tell your kids when they get to the second level, no moves, just go, because those guys never get to practice tackling those cats.
Tackling in the open field is why I hold my breath every opening kickoff. Hold my breath.
That's right.
You get an open field now, it's a touchdown, unless it gets slow. Unless it gets
That's
slow,
right.
where he gets
or he goes to Riverdale. do you know? This is a true story. Since Alec Lanza and David Estevez graduated in the 16-17 period, we have not returned a kick for a touchdown. However, we have, I think, somewhere neighborhood of almost 30 kickoff returns of 50 yards or more.
Really?
Can't finish it. Story of my life. I got hawked 5 times senior year on punt returns.
Yeah, they don't finish it. So
nope, slow guys.
Well, I also think that there's a so the specialization, and I'm curious what you think about this. Track and field, which and Derek wasn't a track guy. Obviously, I was a track guy. You're a track guy. But track and field, to me, and football go hand in hand. Yes. And specialization in football has now, maybe not in the South, okay? Because the South, those kids go, they run track. Like track is, like we had on coaches from Florida, like
a little different.
They still emphasize track. Okay.
Oh, he pushed Mike Smith, right? American Heritage.
From American Heritage.
He's like, my guys are on the track.
Yeah.
Right. But up in, I would say the North, definitely, because everyone wants to specialize and whatever their sport is, they're doing that 24/7. And we talk about this all the time. That then affects their overall. You can run all the routes. What Derek just said this to me the other day, because we see our guys that, like, we have a 7-on-7 club. We travel. Me and you used to talk about it. I'm part of the problem in the recruiting system. But those kids, they run. I am. They run. They'll just run routes all year long. That does not get you faster.
No.
Like, that does not build your speed. It gets you good at route running. They'll run crisp routes, but your 40 is still 4.8.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you're running track, you're running good routes. How long does it take you to master your cuts if you're with a coach that's fairly good at teaching it, right? It doesn't take you that long to start doing it if you're getting enough reps. What you need to do is develop your overall speed. And I've seen, and this is one of the things that I think stinks about the fact that I can't run as many events, where the combine part we used to emphasize, which was a big speed element to it. And we can't even get kids to get timed anymore. Guys don't want to get timed.
Because the truth.
They don't want to get timed.
Right. They don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear what their time is. I'm like, well, your ego can't handle it, but you need to know what your time is so you can improve it.
The ones asking for the time are mommy and daddy, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's all they want to know. I mean, look, we just did an event Saturday night, and it was, I mean, look, I've been doing these with you, Dave, forever. This is, I'm telling you right now,
the worst I've ever seen.
It was god-awful, to be honest. God-awful.
Skill-wise, they were good, too. They were great.
Agility stations, you should have seen them working all over the place, right? Shuttle times were great. Great shuttle times. 40s. And listen, it's the first time since I've been doing this. I've been doing this with you, Dave, for 10 years. I think I had maybe 1 or 2 guys ask their time.
Well, I'll give you one. Sprint mechanics, right? So the more you read of guys we'll call them strength and conditioning guys, I don't know if we're too strong and I don't know if we're in real good shape. So, we kind of look at it a little bit differently, not because we're trying to be on the cutting edge. We're just trying to have a little better application of what we do. But one thing that's missing from a lot of lifting programs is sprinting. And because,